All right, today we're going to make these cute little octopuses. Aren't they just adorable? So to make these, we're going to use this yarn. It's a super bulky 6, and you're going to need two. I use 12mm eyes, safety eyes, and some stitch markers, your crochet hook. I use a 4.5mm, and then of course some scissors to cut your yarn. All right, so let's get started. Move these out of the way here. All right, we're gonna be using this pink yarn today to make little baby octopuses, and this is pretty simple. I'm going to start by wrapping the yarn around your fingers twice, like so. Then I'm going to take a stitch marker and I'm going to hook it on the middle string in the back, just so I remember which string to pull first. Then we're going to insert our hook here, pull it through. I'm going to use my thumb to just kind of keep the tension on the yarn. All right, and then here we're going to do 7 single crochets in the magic ring. This is the magic ring. So here we go. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we're just going to pull that along and put in a stitch marker here on our last one so that we can pull this magic ring nice and tight. So here we're going to use the one that has our stitch marker on it. We're going to pull it from the top to pull the first loop in. Then we're going to grab our tail to pull the second loop that has our stitch marker in. Then we're going to remove the stitch marker because we don't need it anymore and pull it nice and tight. All right, there we go. We've got 7 single crochets in our magic ring. We're going to insert our crochet hook back in here. And this time, the second row, we're going to do an increase. So we're going to take our 7 stitches and make them 14. So I'll stick it in this first one here, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets in here. And we're just going to do that all the way around. We're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. So we're at 2. And we're just going to count to make sure we get 14 at the end. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and this last one here goes in our stitch marker stitch, 13 and 14, and that's the end of row 2. We're going to put a stitch marker on there. Now we're going to do single crochets all the way around, just in each stitch, so 14 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Whoops, I just got in the front stitch there. Let's try that again. 11, 12, almost there, 13, and 14. And that's the end of row 3. This is our last row of single crochets. One more time. I'm going to count to 14 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Well done. All right. Now if your thing's all over the place, just kind of flip it so that the yarn is on the inside of the bowl. Okay. Now we're going to decrease. Kind of shrink this down a little bit to make it the head that we want. So the first stitch is just a single crochet. And we're going to do a decrease by sticking our hook under the first loop of the next 2 stitches and pulling it through. So there's the first decrease, here's the second one, and the third, again, it goes under the loop, front loop of the next 2 stitches and pull through. All right, that's 3 decreases. Now we're going to do a single crochet and 3 more decreases. We're repeating what we just did. So here we go. Decrease number 1, decrease number 2 underneath that front loop, and decrease number 3, front loop of the 2 stitches, pull through. All right, that's it for the head. You did a head. You've got an octopus head now. Look at that. Doesn't look like much yet, but it will. Next, we're going to add the eyes. You can do it one of 2 ways. I like to leave the counters on there so that I can count 1, 2, 3, and then follow this line around. Or you can just do it like this. So the holes at the top, the center, and you're just going to count 1, 2, 3 rows down. And you're going to do the eyes I like to do 1 stitch apart. So I'm going to put this one here, skip this stitch here, and then put the next one here. And I like to do them away from the back where I'm working. So they're just going to go up here in the front, away from my rows. All right, so then we're going to take our tail and tuck it in because we don't need it, and then it will be out of the way. So tucking in our yarn tail here. And I'm going to take off my stitch counters. Now we're going to do our tentacles. So to do that, we're going to start in the next stitch right here. And we're going to do a slip stitch, just like that. Now this is going to be the stitch that we come back and do a slip stitch in again after we chain 2. So we're going to go 1, 2, and then we're going to slip stitch back into this one. So the chain 2 is our tentacle. All right, and you're going to do that again all the way around 8 times. So you have 8 tentacles. So let me show you again. So slip stitch into the front loop like so, chain 2, slip stitch into this front loop again. Okay, slip stitch into the front loop. You're going to chain 2 and then slip stitch into this loop again. Okay, so chain 2 and then slip stitch back into this loop. Alright, we've got 4 done. We're halfway there. Slip stitch 1, 2, slip stitch into the front loop again. Right, 3 more to go. Slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch again, slip stitch into the front loop, chain 2, slip stitch again, and one last time, slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch, and tie it off. Make sure to leave a long enough tail so that you can close the opening on the bottom. Alright, take our last stitch marker off. I'm going to pull that tight. Alright, I'm going to add a little bit more fluff. To do that, I'm just going to take some of the yarn we just did, maybe about 6 inches or so. I'm just going to take that and I'm going to stuff it inside the head just to give it a little bit more fluff. Now we're going to close up this opening here on the bottom. To do that, we're going to go into the back loop. You kind of have to pull it up there. It's kind of buried. The first loop is, but once you get it, the rest will be easier. So first loop, pull it through. You can use a yarn needle for this, but I like to use a crochet hook. You just grab it and pull it through. You're just going to do it all around. So this is 3. Next one, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Last one. Pull this through, and we're just going to pull this nice and tight to close that opening. And then we're just going to hide our tail. To do that, we're just going to insert our hook anywhere in the head, bring it back up, And we're just going to pull this yarn in. Now you could cut it shorter, but I like to have the extra, just all of the extra inside. So I just do this a couple times to pull this, all this yarn in. And there it is, all in. Pull out my crochet hook. And there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Isn't that cute? And there he is. You did it. Now have a baby octopus. And these are super fun. You can do them in lots of colors or you can stack them up. Super fun to do. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.